Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Julian, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be reacting to Spider-Man versus Batman. And honestly, I'm biased. I don't care. I'm a true Spider-Man fan, ride or die. I'm just going to say that. That's all I'm going to say. So before we get into the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for those who are new. And we're going to get straight into it. Let's go.
Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on Variant, I put two of the best superheroes against one another. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I love Christmas cookies. I'm your host, Aris Quinones. Speaking of Christmas, Merry Christmas, everyone. I know it's Christmas Eve if you're watching this video the first day it went up, so I hope you all have a wonderful holiday and get everything your comic book loving hearts desire. As for today's episode, I decided to put two of the most famous superheroes in the world against one another, Batman versus Spider-Man. So let's take a gander at what both the Dark Knight and the Wallcrawler brings to the fight and see who I think would win. Now, normally I go into the origins of each character before my Versus episodes just to familiarize you with their backstory, which I'm still going to do, but this week I'm going to keep their backstories extra short since everyone and their mother knows Batman and Spider-Man's origins. Let's start with the Caped Crusader. Boy is walking through Crime Alley with his parents. Parents get shot by a man named Joe Chill. Boy from that day on sets out on a crusade to avenge his parents' death by bringing all who prey on the innocent to justice, using the persona of a bat to strike fear into his enemies. Then we have the Webslinger. Boy gets bit by a radioactive spider. Radioactive spider gives him superhuman strength and the ability to stick to walls. Boy learns with great power comes great responsibility, and from then on protects the innocent. See? Short and sweet. With their origins out of the way, that allows me to get down to business, and or what's gonna
See, one thing I would say is that Batman and Spider-Man, their origin stories, they have arguably the most simplest backstories that I believe it. Because I know a lot of times in the movies, when they do reboots, they always have to retell the origin story, which I don't think they had to, because to me, that's simple. That is just as simple as knowing what's 1 + 1. I mean, you don't necessarily have to know how they become who they are in order to understand them. Like, we already know the whole thing with Batman, you know, with his parents being murdered, and then he comes from a rich family, and he becomes rich, and then you got Wayne Industries, and then, you know, with Peter becoming Spider-Man by the death of Uncle Ben. Like, that whole thing, y'all don't really need to hear that story again and again. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Determine the winner of this fight. Powers and abilities. Let's start with the Batman. He is 6'3" and 225 pounds of pure justice. He's a master of stealth, disguise, escapology, and over 100 forms of martial arts. Batman is considered the world's greatest detective, solving the biggest secrets with small or large amounts of data. He is incredibly smart and has even been able to hack into alien and future tech numerous amount of times, as well as other great feats that would take great intelligence. He's one of the best, if not the best, strategist in the entire DC universe. He's always keeping himself steps ahead of his opponents, which is one of the main reasons he is so deadly. And due to his intense diet and training, Batman has accomplished feats that normal human beings might call superhuman. Batman is also in peak physical condition. He can bench press at least 1,000 pounds and can leg press 1.5 tons. Batman's training and peak conditioning means he's very fast both in combat and on his feet. His speed combined with his strength makes him extremely powerful. Even the enhanced assassin Deathstroke has commented on the power and skill of the Batman. Green Arrow also shot an arrow at him and he grabbed it out of midair. He's also dodged bullets from point blank range. Batman also has a massive array of gadgetry, which he's become known for, and a lot of which is in his utility belt. Due to his wealth, money is no obstacle for the development of various gadgets and paraphernalia he uses fighting crime. Basically, whatever cool gadget you can think of, Batman probably has it or something similar. His Batsuit is an experimental military body armor that for the most part is tear resistant, bulletproof, and immune to temperature extremes. It also is shock resistant and acid resistant. It's made to rebound punches and kicks, which I personally always thought was awesome. His cowl has a computer link directly to the Batcave and has X-ray, thermal, sonar, and night vision built in. Moving on to the webhead, he stands in at 5'10 and is 167 pounds of web-slinging awesomeness. Spider-Man possesses the proportionate powers of a spider, so he has superhuman strength, speed, toughened flesh, and numerous arachnid abilities. Like many superhuman powers, the effectiveness of Spider-Man's powers varies based on the author and the needs of the story. Spider-Man can lift 10 tons without effort. His attacks are so strong he has to pull his punches and kicks when fighting normal everyday humans to avoid making a fatal blow. Spider-Man is super agile, flexible, and has some of the best reflexes around. He's also incredibly durable, as his body is much tougher than that of a normal person. His advanced musculature produces less fatigue toxins during physical activity, which allows him to exert himself physically for much longer periods of time before getting tired. Spider-Man also has a limited healing factor. It's nothing like Deadpool or Wolverine, but it is powerful enough for him to recover from broken bones and large amounts of tissue damage in just days. He has superhuman sight, and on top of his spider powers, he has genius level intellect. I've already mentioned a bunch of Spider-Man's abilities, but the most amazing one I think is his spider sense. It's a tingling sensation on the back of his skull that acts as a sixth sense, and it manifests when he's around or targeted by incoming dangers. It's a precognition ability that is pheromone based and is similar to Daredevil's radar sense, increasing his reaction time and awareness. Summary, he knows what attacks are going to happen before they happen. It's definitely one of the best powers to have. Spider-Man does have some...
Yeah, I would definitely say if I wanted to be, if I could go a day with someone's powers, it would be Spider-Man, because that spider sense is so, to me, that's OP. And I feel like a lot of people underestimate Spider-Man's strength. I mean, Eris mentioned that he could lift up to 10 tons. I mean, if you watch the movies, you would understand. Specifically, the live action ones. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't really realize how strong he really is. I mean, he may not be as strong as, or as powerful as a Thor or any of the X-Men, but he can hold his own in many ways. Whether with the red or black suit. And you don't want to see him with the black suit, because that just enhances his strength to level 100. So yeah, that's something that you shouldn't, that you should take serious if you were to go up against him.
Some gadgets, not remotely as much as Batman, but two notable ones would be his web shooters and spider tracers. His web shooters are self-explanatory. It allows him to shoot web and web sling around the city. The spider tracers are typical trackers that are shaped like spiders. The tracers contain a special radio frequency that his spider sense can detect, so he uses them to track objects or people via spider sense within a 100-mile radius. So now that I've laid out most of their powers and abilities, it's time for me to tell you who I think would win. All of you know these are my top 2 comic book characters, so there's not much room here for me to be biased. Plus, I think you guys know I'm not biased anyway. Especially after my Can Batman Beat Superman episode, where I full on admit and explain why Batman couldn't beat Superman, even though I like Batman way more. But as for Spider-Man versus Batman, I actually think it depends on the terms and or circumstances of the fight. If Batman had prep time, I think he would hands down win, no question, because, well, he's Batman, which means he can come up with a way to solve almost any problem or beat anyone, because that's what he does. Now, that doesn't mean I think he can beat anyone ever in existence, hence me saying almost. But I definitely think Spider-Man wouldn't be a problem for Batman if he had prep time. Superman said it best when he said Batman is the most dangerous man on Earth. So basically, if Batman just knew that Spider-Man existed, he would win, because he always has a contingency plan for everything or anyone he knows of. Now, on the flip side of that, if this was their first meeting and Batman didn't know of Spider-Man's existence, I think Spider-Man would win, because he outmatches Batman physically, which I guess doesn't mean all that much in this fight, because Batman has beaten countless numbers of opponents with super strength and crazy powers, but it still helps. What I think really...
Yeah, one thing about Batman is that he doesn't go down without a fight. No matter if you're stronger than him, or whether if you're supernatural, you have superhuman strength, or you're just ahead of him with technology. Batman, because I even thought about when I watched one of the Batman movies, it was the animated one called Batman versus Dracula. even though Dracula was giving him the run for his money, but Batman managed to keep up with him. I mean, despite the first time he fought him, obviously Dracula had the upper hand, but later on he had to prep and figure out how he could beat him. So, like he said, unless he had the time to prepare and get knowledge about his opponent, he's not going to stand a chance.
What makes Spider-Man win in this scenario is his extreme intellect, on top of having a spider sense, which I think is the main key to him winning in this situation, because he would be able to anticipate most, if not all, of Batman's attacks.
Our waffles can pop up anywhere. Saint-Pierre Belgian waffles. Eat avec respect.
Which would make any gadget or plan of attack Batman had useless. So my thoughts are, it really just comes down to what the circumstances of the fight are. But that's just my 2 cents. Some of you might think different, which, like I always say when I do these versus episodes, that's 100% okay. Everyone is entitled to have their own opinion. Plus, it's fun to talk about this stuff, hence the reason we all love comics so much. And sometimes people even bring up good points. But I will ask to keep the conversation kind in the comment section. Just because you don't agree with me or someone else doesn't give you the right to verbally assault them. As I always say, which has become a mantra of sorts, comic books are supposed to be fun first and foremost. So when you take the fun out of comics, what's the point? Now, I'm not saying this because you guys have been malicious to one another. You guys are actually awesome, and together we have all built a great and most of all fun community for variants. A lot of the times I don't even have to say anything to people who are being obnoxious because you all beat me to it. Which is why I personally think the variant community is the best comic book community hands down, and I have you guys to thank for that, so thank you. Anyway, it's now time to see what the majority of you guys think. So head over to our Variant Facebook page to vote on a poll we posted there for who you think would win in a fight. Like I said, I personally think it all depends on the circumstances of the fight. And I'm not just saying that because I don't want to pick a winner. I just really believe it can go either way depending on the circumstances. So for people who agree with me, I've added a could go either way option in the poll. But again, head over to vote on our Variant Facebook page and I'll announce what you guys decided at the end of next week's episode. When you buy a domain name from domain.com, you get the power to influence and control what people find when they search for you online. No domain extension will help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. Domain.com is first up for Wednesday, December 24th. We have Daredevil issue 11. Daredevil's recent traumas have him coping in an unexpected.
Okay, that was it. Okay, I was wondering if there was more, but I guess that was the end of the topic. But yeah, so y'all let me know what y'all think. I mean, he said it depends on the circumstance. And you kind of want to, think how it would work in terms of whether if he has time to, or whether they have time to prepare for each other in a fight. But for me, I'm a Spider-Man fan, so I'm just gonna say Spider-Man because I'm just biased like that, I guess. But Batman is great too. Don't get me wrong, because both of those characters are not only great characters themselves, but also they have a great list of villains, and I believe nobody else has the best villains other than those two. But like I said, I'm a Marvel fan, let alone Spider-Man. And as a matter of fact, as y'all can see, this is definitely one of my favorite souvenirs or collectibles that I've gotten from Spider-Man ever. Especially with this being the most famous event where Gwen Stacy dies in London while Spider-Man's trying to defeat the Green Goblin. So she pretty much died in the hands of the Goblin. But even though Spider-Man is partly responsible for it. So that's one of my souvenirs that I love. And I definitely have more. I don't know if I'm going to show you everything, but they're kind of all over the place and whatnot. So yeah. So let me know what y'all think. Who do you think winning the battle? And be honest and keep it positive. I don't want nobody bashing each other and things like that. So keep it friendly or keep it civil. So yeah. On that note, I'm going to end the video right here. Like I said before, like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, handle your business before you can get it. Peace.